December 30th, 2025, will be etched into wrestling history as the night Brock Lesnar accomplished what was supposed to take weeks to achieve, obliterating two champions in one evening and creating chaos that nobody predicted. The final SmackDown of 2025 was supposed to be straightforward, a championship rematch between Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi, perhaps some Royal Rumble build, maybe appearances from other top stars to set the stage for the new year. What actually happened was so far beyond anyone's expectations, so completely unprecedented in modern WWE, so fundamentally game-changing that it's still being processed by everyone from casual fans to veteran performers to WWE's creative team who presumably planned this chaos, but might be questioning whether they've created something brilliant or catastrophic. Because Brock Lesnar didn't just defeat Oba Femi to reclaim the WWE Championship in their scheduled rematch. That would have been significant enough. Instead, what unfolded was a night where Brock defeated Oba in brutal fashion, then immediately challenged and defeated Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship in an impromptu match, and then, in the most shocking moment of all, Paul Heyman appeared with Triple H and announced that Brock Lesnar, now holding both championships simultaneously, had by executive decision unified them into the Undisputed WWE Championship 3 weeks before Royal Rumble was supposed to accomplish that exact goal. And the question burning through everyone's mind isn't just how this happened or why WWE abandoned their carefully announced Royal Rumble plans, but what does this mean for everyone who is scheduled to compete in that 5-way elimination match? What does this mean for Royal Rumble itself, and most critically, has WWE just pulled off the most audacious storytelling swerve in years, or have they created a booking nightmare that will haunt them throughout 2026? Let me reconstruct this entire evening because the sequence of events is crucial for understanding the magnitude of what occurred and the implications for WWE's immediate future. The show opened with the previously established rematch between Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi for the WWE Championship, with Roman Reigns banned from the building to prevent any repeat of the distraction that influenced their New Year's Eve encounter. The match began with Brock immediately asserting dominance in ways that made clear this wouldn't be competitive. Within 2 minutes, Brock had hit multiple German suplexes, establishing physical superiority that Oba had no answer for. The crowd, initially supportive of Oba and hoping he could prove his championship victory was legitimate rather than a fluke, gradually shifted to uncomfortable concern as the beating continued without Oba mounting any meaningful offense. By the 7-minute mark, Brock had hit 3 F5s without attempting a pin, clearly making a statement rather than simply winning the match. The referee checked on Oba multiple times, asking if he could continue, and Oba's stubborn pride kept him answering yes despite being obviously outmatched. The 4th F5 came at the 11-minute mark, and this time Brock covered for the pin. 1, 2, 3. New WWE Champion. Brock held the title above his head not with celebration but with grim satisfaction, the expression of someone who had corrected an injustice rather than achieved a new goal. Medical personnel entered to check on Oba, who was selling the beating as potentially more than just match physicality. Whether genuine injury concern or exceptional selling wasn't immediately clear, but Oba was eventually helped to the back, unable to walk on his own power. The crowd's reaction was mixed. Appreciation for Brock's dominance mixed with discomfort at how thoroughly Oba had been destroyed, mixed with uncertainty about whether this was building towards something or simply WWE correcting a mistake by taking the championship off someone who wasn't ready for it. The expectation was that this was the conclusion of the evening's main event storyline, that the show would wrap with Brock as WWE Champion heading toward Royal Rumble, where he'd defend in the 5-way alongside Roman, defending the World Heavyweight Championship, leading to eventual unification as Triple H had announced weeks earlier. But then, instead of moving to closing segments or post-match interviews, Roman Reigns' music hit. And everyone in the arena and watching at home had the same immediate thought. Roman was banned from the building. WWE had made that explicitly clear, so his appearance should be impossible unless he was willing to accept suspension and fines that Triple H had threatened. Roman walked onto the entrance ramp in ring gear, clearly ready to compete despite the ban, his expression mixing determination with something that might have been reckless disregard for consequences. The crowd erupted, sensing that whatever was about to happen would be significant given Roman's willingness to violate direct orders from WWE management. Brock. Roman's voice cut through the arena noise, commanding attention immediately. You wanted to prove you're the most dominant force in WWE? You wanted to show everyone that beating you on New Year's Eve was a fluke? Congratulations, you destroyed a kid who wasn't ready for you. Real impressive, beast incarnate. The sarcasm dripped from every word, Roman's verbal assault hitting differently than physical confrontation. But you know what you haven't done? You haven't beaten the tribal chief. You haven't proven you can beat me when I'm World Heavyweight Champion and fully prepared for your intensity. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to defend that WWE Championship you just won against me right now, and we're going to find out who's actually the most dominant champion in this company. The challenge was direct and created immediate pandemonium in the arena. But here's where the first critical question emerges. Did Roman coordinate this with WWE management, or was this genuinely Roman going rogue and forcing WWE's hand? The answer would become clearer as events unfolded, but in the moment, it appeared to be Roman gambling his own position and reputation on the belief that Brock would accept the challenge and that Roman could defeat an opponent who had just dominated another champion without breaking a sweat. Brock's response was characteristically brief. He simply pointed at Roman and then at the ring, the universal signal for "come get some" that needed no verbal elaboration. Triple H appeared on the Titantron, looking simultaneously frustrated at Roman for violating the ban and intrigued by the potential of this impromptu championship match. Roman, you were explicitly banned from this building. You showing up means automatic suspension and significant fines, as I warned. However, he paused, the single word creating anticipation about what loophole or compromise was coming. If Brock Lesnar accepts your challenge for an impromptu WWE Championship match right now, and if you put your World Heavyweight Championship on the line as well, making this a winner-takes-all match for both championships, then I'll consider your ban violation as forgiven given the historic nature of what would be accomplished. Brock, do you accept Roman's challenge under these conditions? The stipulation was brilliant from a storytelling perspective. It created the possibility of championship unification happening tonight rather than at Royal Rumble. It gave both competitors something enormous to fight for. And it provided kayfabe justification for allowing a banned Roman Reigns to compete despite explicit orders. Brock's response, delivered through Paul Heyman, who had appeared at ringside despite his own complicated status with WWE management, was decisive. My client Brock Lesnar accepts the challenge. The Beast Incarnate will defeat Roman Reigns, will take the World Heavyweight Championship, and will unify these titles tonight, proving definitively that there is no one, not Roman Reigns, not CM Punk, not anyone in WWE, who can match Brock Lesnar's dominance. This is not a challenge. This is an execution. The second critical question, was this always the plan, or did WWE audible to this scenario based on how the Brock-Oba match played out? The evidence suggests this might have been planned, because having both championships present at SmackDown, having Roman in ring gear despite being banned, having Triple H ready with specific stipulations and conditions, all of this suggests coordination rather than improvisation. But whether planned or improvised, the result was that WWE was about to attempt championship unification weeks ahead of schedule in a way that would either be remembered as brilliant opportunistic booking or as hasty decision-making that undermined months of build-up. Roman entered the ring, and the referee held up both championships to make clear that both titles were on the line in this impromptu match. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation mixed with concern about whether either competitor had enough left after their respective earlier exertions. Brock had just worked an 11-minute match, and while he dominated Oba, he'd still expended energy. Roman had wrestled on SmackDown before. This was occurring despite him primarily being a Raw performer, so he wasn't completely fresh either. The match began with both men immediately going to their power arsenals, no feeling-out process or technical sequences, just two of WWE's most physically imposing performers trying to overpower each other. The early sequences were fascinating because they were so evenly matched neither man could establish sustained dominance. Every advantage was immediately answered with a counter. Every attempt at a finishing sequence was blocked or reversed. This was the polar opposite of Brock's earlier match against Oba, showcasing what happens when two elite-level performers with years of experience face each other rather than an established legend facing a promising but unproven developmental talent. The crowd was thoroughly invested, chanting for both competitors at different moments, creating an atmosphere of genuine uncertainty about who would win and claim both championships. Around the 14-minute mark, the match reached a crescendo with both men having hit multiple signatures without securing victory. Brock had hit two F5s that Roman kicked out of, demonstrating the Tribal Chief's legendary resilience and refusal to stay down. Roman had hit two spears that Brock powered out of, showcasing the beast incarnate's inhuman durability. Both men were visibly exhausted, the combination of their earlier exertions and the intensity of this match pushing even their elite conditioning to its limits. The referee was down after taking an accidental collision during one of Roman's spear attempts that Brock dodged, creating a situation where there was no official to count potential pinfalls. And this is when Seth Rollins' music hit, creating a moment that made the entire arena collectively gasp because nobody expected Seth's involvement given recent Shield-destroying events. Seth ran to the ring with a steel chair, and every person watching had to be wondering, who is Seth here to help? His former Shield brother Roman, despite Roman recently destroying him to win the World Heavyweight Championship? Or his former Shield brother Brock? Wait, Brock was never in the Shield, so Seth being there to help Brock made no sense. The answer revealed itself when Seth entered the ring and immediately measured both Roman and Brock, positioning himself between them rather than clearly aligning with either. "Stop." Seth's voice, amplified through the arena's sound system despite him not having a microphone, somehow cut through the noise. "This is wrong. This whole thing is wrong." He looked at Roman with an expression mixing anger and hurt. "You destroyed me to win that World Heavyweight Championship, told me the Shield meant nothing, told me brotherhood was weakness. Fine. I heard you. I understood. The Shield is dead because you killed it." Then Seth turned to Brock. "And you? You've been playing part-timer for years, coming back whenever you feel like it, taking opportunities from people who are here every single week grinding. And now you're going to Unify Championships weeks before Royal Rumble was supposed to accomplish that, making everyone scheduled for that match look like fools." The third critical question, what was Seth's intention, and whose side was he actually on? The answer came when Seth raised the steel chair and looked at both men, then threw the chair out of the ring entirely and delivered curb stomps to both Roman and Brock in rapid succession, taking out both competitors rather than helping either. The referee was recovering and saw the double attack, immediately calling for the bell and signaling that the match was ending in disqualification or no contest. Seth stood over both fallen champions, breathing heavily, and grabbed a microphone that had appeared at ringside. "You want to know whose side I'm on? I'm on my own side. I'm tired of Shield history and bloodline loyalty and part-timers taking opportunities. At Royal Rumble, I'm winning the Royal Rumble match, and then at WrestleMania, I'm taking the championship from whoever walks out of tonight as champion, or from whoever WWE decides is champion if this match doesn't have a clear winner." Seth dropped the microphone and left through the crowd, not through the entrance ramp, creating visual separation from both the establishment WWE represents and from the Shield history he'd been part of. But the chaos wasn't finished. As medical personnel checked on both Roman and Brock, as the referee was trying to determine the official match outcome, Paul Heyman entered the ring with a microphone and did what Paul Heyman does best, he talked. "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I have served as special counsel to Brock Lesnar through his most dominant periods in WWE history." What you just witnessed was Seth Rollins' jealous interference in a historic moment, his inability to accept that he will never be on the level of Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. The crowd booed, recognizing vintage Heyman manipulation. But Seth Rollins' actions, while reprehensible, do not change certain realities. Brock Lesnar entered tonight's show as a challenger. He defeated Oba Femi to become WWE Champion. He then accepted Roman Reigns' challenge for a winner-takes-all match where both championships were on the line. Heyman paused for effect, the master of dramatic timing even in chaotic circumstances. The match ended without a clear winner due to Seth Rollins' interference. But WWE rules are clear. In a no-contest or disqualification situation where both championships are on the line, the person who entered the match holding a championship retains that championship. Brock entered this match as WWE Champion. Therefore, Brock retains the WWE Championship regardless of match outcome. However, another dramatic pause. Triple H and I have had discussions over the past week about creative ways to accomplish championship unification ahead of schedule if the right circumstances presented themselves. The right circumstances just presented themselves. Triple H appeared on the entrance ramp, walking toward the ring with purposeful stride, his expression suggesting he was about to make an announcement of historic significance. Paul's right about one thing. Brock Lesnar is the WWE Champion and retains that title regardless of how tonight's match ended. But championship unification was supposed to happen at Royal Rumble through a 5-way elimination match. That match is now impossible to execute as planned because Braun Breaker is injured, because circumstances have evolved beyond our original vision, and frankly because what I'm about to announce makes more storyline sense than what we had planned. The arena went silent, everyone understanding that whatever Triple H was about to say would fundamentally alter WWE's direction. Effective immediately, by executive decision, Brock Lesnar, as WWE Champion who just defeated Oba Femi and who competed for both championships in his match against Roman Reigns, is hereby recognized as the undisputed WWE Champion. The WWE Championship and World Heavyweight Championship are unified into a single title. There will be no separate championships going forward. There is only one champion, one championship, one person at the absolute top of WWE. And that person, whether I personally like it or not, is Brock Lesnar. The announcement created instant pandemonium. The crowd's reaction was mixed excitement at witnessing historic unification, mixed with confusion about Royal Rumble implications, mixed with anger that weeks of build-up had been seemingly thrown away for a spontaneous decision. But Triple H wasn't finished explaining. Royal Rumble will no longer feature a 5-way elimination match for championship unification because that unification just occurred. Instead, Royal Rumble will feature the traditional 30-person Royal Rumble match, where the winner earns a championship match at WrestleMania. And Royal Rumble will feature Brock Lesnar defending the undisputed WWE Championship in a fatal 4-way match against Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, the 4 competitors who have proven they belong at WWE's absolute top level. Winner of that match retains or wins the Undisputed Championship and faces the Royal Rumble winner at WrestleMania. The fourth critical question: did this decision improve or damage WWE's Royal Rumble planning? The argument in favor is that it created genuine surprise and historic significance by unifying championships unexpectedly. It simplified the championship picture going forward by having one clear top title. And it created a fatal 4-way at Royal Rumble featuring only the absolute top-tier competitors without the complications of Oba Femi or Braun Breaker, who had been exposed or injured respectively. The argument against is that it abandoned weeks of build-up and announced plans, potentially making WWE look chaotic and unable to stick with long-term storytelling. And it reduced Royal Rumble's significance by accomplishing unification beforehand rather than making that the pay-per-view's central achievement. Wrestling Twitter exploded with takes in both directions. Some praised WWE for bold, unpredictable booking that created a genuine, anything-can-happen atmosphere. Others criticized the company for hotshotting a major storyline development on free TV rather than saving it for a pay-per-view where it would drive buys. Veteran wrestling journalists published instant analysis pieces examining whether this represented confident creative direction or panic-driven course correction. The debate was fierce and immediate, exactly the kind of engagement WWE presumably wanted to generate, though whether that engagement translates to increased viewership and revenue remains to be seen. CM Punk's reaction on social media was characteristically pointed, so let me understand this correctly. WWE spent weeks telling us Royal Rumble would unify championships through a five-way. Then they did it on free TV on a random SmackDown because, why exactly? Because it creates surprise? Because planning is overrated? Cool. Love working for a company that changes major plans on a whim. Anyway, I'm winning the Undisputed Championship at Royal Rumble, so I guess it doesn't matter how we got here. See you in a few weeks, Brock. The sarcasm was vintage Punk, criticizing WWE's decision-making while positioning himself as the ultimate beneficiary who'll fix their mistakes by taking the championship.